Welcome back to Inside SRSO. I'm Rich Alloy, the Public Information Officer for the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. With me I have Sheriff Bob Johnson. How are you, sir?
Good to be back.
Glad to have you. And Jacqueline Kovac, Crime Prevention Coordinator.
Always happy to be here.
We got a ton of information to go over.
Yes.
So let's just get started. Jacqueline, you did the press release on this one. You want to talk about the shooting in Navarre?
Yeah, so on February 21st, we had a shooting on was Panhandle Trail in Navarre. We had a gentleman called Callan Nation. He called us to say that he had been shot in the foot by another person that had been in his home. Apparently he was just loaning money to a friend named Tyler, and Tyler's friend shot him in the foot. So this was pretty interesting. It played out. The man identified that was called Tyrese. We found out he was not Tyrese. He is Antoine Nelson. He had run out of the room and apparently had pointed a pistol at a couple other people that were also inside that residence. Long story short, they got the gun off of him. They were able to get the keys to the car that he had off of him. We later found him through some great detective and patrol work, and he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, which are third-degree felonies, an aggravated battery charge, which is second-degree felony, and then attempted robbery. So he was taken to the Milton Hilton and booked on $65,000 bond. So
That's a lot.
yes,
Always good to go to the hotel and stay a couple of days if you do something wrong.
three hots and a cot is what they get, right?
3 hots and a cot, not much more than that. It's not really like the Hilton, trust me.
No, but that's the nickname I guess we've all grown to.
Yeah, it
get it.
rhymes. It's kind of catchy, but yeah, you definitely don't want to go there.
No.
No.
Next thing is a Mardi Gras parade over in Navarre. We had a great year this year. There was a lot of participants. I heard somewhere of upwards of 57 floats took place, and we had a really good time. I think there were 2 incidences involved with a fight, which we obviously took care of very quickly. And it was a great teamwork effort between law enforcement, EMS, fire. We kept everybody safe. Everything was great. Had a good time. Nothing outstanding occurred, but as we do every year, we try to bring to you the updates on bridge closures, traffic issues, and any public safety event that's taking place by following us on our Facebook page. And we were able to get that out there and let you know what was happening. And I think the best part of this year was we didn't have to close down Navarre Bridge up until the last moment before the parade actually started. And we opened it back up with 2 lanes going north. And very uneventful. Everyone had a good time?
I heard there was about 35,000 people there.
Yes, that is a lot of people.
You know, that says a lot about the people out there, though, because if you have 35,000 people and a lot of them are drinking and you only have 2 fights, that says a lot about the people out there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we did saturate it this year with a lot of deputies to make sure everyone was having a good time. And you can't really, you don't know what you don't know. Was it more deputies? Was it good people? You don't know.
Well, my thing is, if you're going to have 35,000 people out there, you can't have too many deputies. I was out there the year where I think there was like 12 of us, and the DUI lady plowed into the crowd of people, and it turned out to be terrible. So I think we more deputies the better for the Navarre parade.
I hear you.
And I think every year it's a learning lesson too, and it grows, and it's okay. Let's try this and let's try that, and even the crew of jesters that puts on the parade, they did a great job working with us and seeing what we can improve upon next year so that we can make it even better for everyone that comes.
Better and even safer.
Yes.
That's what we look for every year. So.
Absolutely. We have a freshman DUI program that's taken place this year. This is something that we've been talking about and trying to plan earlier, I should say late last year, to get to all of our schools. And as we know, the schools have cut back on driver education. So what we wanted to do, Sheriff Johnson wanted to make sure got out to the schools, was we wanted to talk to the freshmen of all the high schools and have them understand the consequences of DUI. Now you're probably asking, well, freshmen don't drive. So we wanted to reach out and get that message in early so we didn't have these issues. And you never know if a freshman's going to be in the car. They could lead by example and give the right message to the driver. So it's a good way of us to communicate with them and share that information. And it's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to hit all the high schools this year.
Yeah, and it's something important too, because what we do is we reenact a DUI crash, and they get to see it from a different perspective. They get to see it from our perspective of how we have to respond to it. And unfortunately, we respond to a lot of DUI crashes, and we're the first ones there. Highway Patrol actually works them, but we're the first ones there, and we get to see the carnage and the dead bodies, and so we're trying to relate to them exactly what happens if you drink and drive and how bad it can be. And hopefully get the message to them. They start driving next year. They'll take our class that we offer for free at the Sheriff's Office for defensive driving for the teens, and hopefully they'll learn a lesson and be safe drivers.
Can't agree more. I'm going to go off script real quick for 1 second. What is that badge you're wearing that I've seen a lot all over the place?
This one?
Yes.
SWAT badge. If you're on SWAT for 5 years, you get a I guess it's just the eagle. If you're on there 10, you get the star. If you're on there over 15, you get the wreath around the star. And then if you're on the team more than 15 years, you get to wear it for the rest of your career.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome. I just saw that. As we were filming, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
I had somebody ask me one time, were you a Navy SEAL? And I went, no. If I was on the SEALs, I'd wear a T-shirt that said SEAL Water Boy. And that'd be about it. So no, it's not a SEAL emblem.
That's great. On another note, Deputy Hubbard, we had the gun drawing that occurred.
Yes. Yeah, we sold $27,000 worth of tickets. It was awesome.
That is great.
And Lee Perry, I think he's a retired Escambia deputy, actually won the gun. So it was a great time. We had the drawing up at Chris's place up there at Milton, the gun store in Milton, and
Gulf Coast Guns and
Gulf
Outdoor.
Coast Guns, and he did a great job. And he is so, I guess, community aware. He donates so much stuff to the community. He's really a great guy.
And it was fun to go. It was great. We saw Nick's mom.
Yeah, Nick's mom was there. So, and she's in good spirits. And I talked to Nick on the phone not too long ago. He's in good spirits. He just finished his first treatment, but they can't tell him how many more treatments he has to have. So he may be up there. It could be anything, another 5 months to another year or more. So we don't know. It just depends on how he progresses.
Yeah, Nick, if you're watching this, we're wishing you the best. Anything that we can do for you, just give us a call. We'll be happy to help you out.
That's right.
And lastly, there's another...
It's another fundraiser for him.
Yep, Pirates of the Panhandle down in south in Navarre are putting on a raffle, and it's for 2 free tickets to the Zach Brown Band. That's a tongue twister. And it's not only just tickets, but you get to go backstage passes and everything. So you actually get to meet the band, I think, which is kind of cool. You don't get to do that very often.
Is that country music?
It is country music.
It's kind of, it's a little bit of both mixed in. If it's not Frank Sinatra, he has no clue. You can talk to him all day.
This is true. But when it comes to country these days, it's definitely a little bit of country and a lot more rock and roll and everything in between.
It's a little bit of everything.
I listen to it, so it's pretty good.
Awesome. Let's do this. We got a lot more to cover. We'll go to the commercial break and we'll be right back. Are we here?
Because you guys busted me stealing from cars.
So how were you getting into these cars?
It's easy, man. I just open the doors.
What do you mean you just open the doors?
Most of the cars I get into are left unlocked.
What are you looking for when you get into these cars?
Cell phones, wallets, guns, purses with money, and even sunglasses. You'd be surprised what people leave in their vehicles. If people would just lock their cars. If people would just lock their cars.
This is where I grew up. I know the streets, I know a lot of the people. My father's been a police officer for over 25 years. It's sort of a family business. I feel very safe and proficient with what I have on my belt. I would not hesitate to put my life on the line for somebody else. I feel like the community here is very supportive. I love working in Santa Rosa County, and it is a great place to both live and work. I'm Jillian Fernandez, and I'm proud to be a Santa Rosa County Deputy Sheriff.
Welcome back. And yes, we are hiring. You just watched that video, Deputy Fernandez. Oh, yeah. And if you want to apply, go to santarosasheriff.org on the careers tab, and we're looking for deputies. And
a little note on that, we are one of the highest paid sheriff's offices in the Panhandle right now. Not to say it's going to last, but for right now we are. We've been blessed by a county commission who in the last 2 years, each year has given us 10% raise for the guys and gals out there. So we're truly blessed to work in a community that we know loves us. So if you want a great job and a great place, this is the department to apply to.
And thanks to you, sir, for what you did in making that happen as well.
Hey. Well,
I'd give you a high five, but
well, no, that's okay. And I hear that from the deputies on occasion, and I tell them, well, y'all deserve it. It's not like I'm just getting you something you don't deserve, so you need to thank me for it. I mean, we've been pretty low paid for a while, so to get the money where it needs to be. It's just the right thing to do. So.
Awesome. Next thing is we just had a really interesting event. We were talking on break about this. So Sheriff Johnson was invited to go to East Milton Elementary to read to some children. And we always have fun with those. It's a great time because you get to interact one-on-one with kids. And boy, you got a bunch of questions.
Man, it was a blast because, I used to be a resource officer and a DARE instructor, so I spent a lot of time in 5th grade classrooms. And some of the questions are pretty neat because, you have the sheriff of Santa Rosa County in there and you have a bunch of kids in 5th grade. And so you think you're going to get a lot of law enforcement questions, but it runs the gamut from what kind of dog do you have at home? What's your favorite candy bar? What's your favorite restaurant to eat at?
These are important questions.
Yeah, they wanted to know. They wanted to know.
Snakes.
So what animal are you scared of the most? That was a good one. A couple of pretty neat questions, but we had a great time. We really did. I love being in the classroom with the kids.
Love kids, I tell you.
A lot of fun.
It is. We had a blast.
And I love hearing the questions that they ask because they're questions that they could ask any regular person off the street, and that's what you are. Strip away the badge, strip away the SWAT memorabilia. That you're just a regular guy.
And I tell you, what's funny is you never know what question is coming.
What was your favorite?
You have no clue what question is coming.
What was your favorite question?
Oh, I had about 5 or 6 of them. I guess my absolute favorite one was when they asked me, did I like horses? And I said I don't like to ride horses because I'm scared of them. And but I'll pet them and feed them apples and things like that. And boy, did I get a reaction out of that. You're scared of something? I'm like, everybody's scared of something. So, but anyways, it was fun.
Great time, and thank you for inviting us down. And we have some pictures, and we'll put those on our Facebook page, and just had a good time.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Sheriff, we got some questions for you. So, as you know, you can go on our Facebook page. You can submit a question to Sheriff Johnson. We'll read it here on the air, and he'll answer them for you. So, the first one is, how is the school resource program going?
Well, it is going a lot better than expected. So, right now we have 36 schools in Santa Rosa County, and 3 of them are covered by Gulf Breeze Police Department, and then we have the rest. So we actually have 33 schools that we have to cover, and that's mandated by the new state law. It's not something that we have latitude with and say, well, today we won't cover East Milton. We can't do that. We have to have a good guy with a gun in every single school every single day while kids are in session. So right now, I think the count of full-time resource officers permanently assigned to schools is around 27. So we need 5 more permanent SROs, and we will have everything covered. And those 5 schools that don't have permanent SROs are covered every day by off-duty officers. So officers on their off-duty day volunteer, and they go in there and get paid by the school board to be an SRO for a day at a school. So your kids in Santa Rosa County are safe. They're going to remain that way. We've made a pledge to fill all of the schools with permanent SROs by the start of next school year, but I think the way it's going, we may have it done by this summer. So it's going pretty good.
That is awesome.
That's a lot of hiring. Let me tell you, we went from 5 school resource officers 2 years ago, and now we're going to be up in the 30s, in a short amount of time.
That is amazing. And we're so dedicated to, and I'll mention this quickly without getting into too many details. We had a deputy that got into an accident this morning. Thankfully, he's fine. But one of the first things afterwards we talked about it was get into an accident. Hey, let the sheriff know. And by the way, is the school covered?
Right, because he was going to work at school. So that was the first thing that came out of his mouth. So that's our mindset, and it's not just mine. It's the guys and gals on the road as well. We're gonna cover these schools no matter what it takes to do it. So, and it's the right thing. A lot of people have said a lot of things about this law, knee-jerk reaction, everything. Well, but can you put a price on school safety? Can you put a price on kids going to school and being safe and feeling safe? And I don't think you can. I don't care what it costs. I think it's a good idea. And if you have a good guy in every school with a gun, it's gonna make people think twice before they do something stupid.
And sir, you wanted to do this even before the incident had happened that prompted all.
Yeah,
of
it was a
this.
campaign promise of mine to my first 4 years. I wanted to get a school resource officer in every middle school at least, and I had done that with two, I think, my first year, and I was hoping to get 2 more each year and have all the middle schools covered. Well, then the Parkland tragedy happened, and then it kind of got put on fast forward. But I tell you what, also props to Tim Rosdick, our school board superintendent. All these other counties in Florida, they're arguing over who's going to pay what, who pays their salary when they're off during the summer, none of that. The day after that law came out, me and Tim Rosdick got together and he stepped up to the plate. He said, I will pay their salary 100% for the full year if you just pick up the equipment tab and buy their cars and guns and uniforms. And
awesome.
we came to that immediately, and I don't know of any other county that did that. So if you see Tim Rosdick out there, give him a big thank you as well, because he's a huge part of this.
And the other addition to that, real quickly, right after the Parkland shooting and the budgetary thing, was how the Speak Out program was introduced to the schools.
And the Speak Out program has been a pretty good success, because 229 tips have come in this year to date, I think, 229, and that's a huge amount. And that's kids calling in for any, and they're totally anonymous. They call in for anything they want to call in to report. A person with a gun, a person with, pills, whatever, any kind of threats or anything, they call in, remain totally anonymous, and then we take care of the problem. So for kids to make 229 calls in a year, that's a lot.
And 11 were parents, which means the program's getting out there.
Exactly. People are finding out about it, which is a good thing.
In any event, I know that Rich and I attend as far as presentations that we do. We do a number of presentations in the school for parents and students.
Oh, yeah.
We are making sure that we are mentioning the Speak Out program and educating the parents on what it is, so that they can talk to their child at home about it, so that they know, hey, if you don't feel comfortable coming to me about this,
Hey,
you can
totally
use this program.
anonymous. That's the great thing about it.
So you had an interesting experience lately.
I did.
You went on what's known as the Navy Embarkment Program.
I did.
Tell us about that.
Boy, that was pretty cool. Because, I was in the Air Force. I flew on Air Force One for my 4 years in active duty, and then after that, I flew on gunships as a gunner during the reserves. But I'd never been on board a Navy ship, so they flew us out to an aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, and I got to spend the night and watch air operations. So I got to watch the catapult takeoffs and the landings, and just generally walk around the ship and meet the sailors and everything. And it was a really, really great thing. And then at the very end, I got to do a cat shot where they launched us off the carrier.
I'm jealous.
And well, let me tell you, and the kid, and I say kid, he's about 18 years old, at the back of the plane, said, it's going to feel like a roller coaster when you take off. I don't know what kind of roller coaster that guy's been on, but it doesn't feel like a roller coaster. I mean, if you've ever been on the rock and roller coaster at Disney, that first shot, multiply that by about 10.
Wow.
And that's the carrier launch. So, but yeah, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of great sailors protecting their country, and a lot of them are young, very young guys and gals. So it was a great experience.
And the part of the program really is to orientate you to local military functions.
Right, and since we have Whiting Field, which is the busiest airport in the world, right here in Santa Rosa County, we do a lot of stuff with them. So it was a great thing. It was eye-opening, because like I said, I was Air Force, so I didn't know much about the Navy.
That is awesome. Let's do this. We got more to talk about. We're going to go to a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
Why are we here?
Because you guys busted me stealing from cars.
So how are you getting into these cars?
It's easy, man. I just open the doors.
What do you mean you just open the doors?
Most of the cars I get into are left unlocked.
What are you looking for when you get into these cars?
Cell phones, wallets, guns, purses with money, and even sunglasses. You'd be surprised what people leave in their vehicles. If people would just lock their cars.
From that first day when I started hearing stories about what law enforcement actually, entailed, I was hooked. I'm very involved with, being on the SWAT team. It's my niche, if you will. I take pride in what I do. And my wife grew up in Santa Rosa County. I have, 2 children, one on the way. I try to be the best husband and father I can be. Hopefully at the end of the day, make me a better cop as well.
I am Michael Ramirez, and I am proud to be a Santa Rosa County Deputy Sheriff.
Welcome back, and this is our favorite part of the show. This is the Wanted Fugitive section.
I love this part.
And it is, of course, if you have any information in reference to any of these individuals, 437-STOP, that's Santa Rosa County Crime Stoppers. And let's get right to it. So, first one is Grammy Edgar Straffer.
Graham.
Graham?
Graham.
Okay. Come to my office and tell me how to pronounce that. I'd love to know. So he is a white male, 48 years of age, approximately 6 foot 1 inch tall, 135 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. He's wanted for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, possession of marijuana less than 20 grams, and possession of drug equipment.
And next up on the hit parade, Tanya Vanessa Rios. She is a white female, 36 years old. She's 5'3", 170 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. She is wanted for a violation of probation for exploitation of elderly disabled, grand theft, uttering forged instrument 4 counts, uttering forged bills 4 counts.
Next, we're looking for Albert Ray Horton Jr. He's a black male, 34 years old, approximately 5'11", 160 pounds. He has black hair, brown eyes, and he is wanted for fraud and swindle, hire or lease with intent to defraud. He also has an active commitment for failure to pay child support.
Next up is Jocelyn Madison Busey. Jocelyn's a white female, 33 years of age, approximately 5'5" tall, 240 pounds, has brown hair, brown eyes, and she's wanted for felony theft, second degree, third or subsequent offense.
Next up, Hannah Delaney Kitterman. She is a white female, 20 years old, 5'2". We don't know what her weight is. She has brown hair and blue eyes, and she's wanted for battery causing bodily harm.
Now we have Michael Joseph Heath. He is a white male, 37 years old. Michael is approximately 5'11", 145 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. Michael is wanted for aggravated stalking and driving while having a suspended license or revoked license. It's his third conviction for that, and he is flagged to be a violent individual.
Next up is Stephen McDiamond, and he is a white male, 49 years of age, approximately 6'1" tall, 200 pounds. He's bald with blue eyes. He's wanted for fleeing and eluding, failed to obey law enforcement orders, driving while license suspended, resisting without violence, fraud impersonation, and giving false identification to law enforcement, and he likes to run.
Yes, he does.
And we saved the best one for you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Oleg Sergeyevich Stupchenko. He is a white male, 28 years old. He's 5'11", 160 pounds, black hair, blue eyes. He's wanted for burglary to an unoccupied structure, grand theft of a firearm, and criminal mischief, $200 and under.
So if you have any information in reference to any of these individuals, there's many ways to get in contact with the Santa Rosa County Crime Stoppers. It's 437-STOP, srccs.com. You could also download the P3 app by Anderson Software. Keep it on your phone. And remember, if we have additional questions for you, we could always speak 2 ways. Through the app, it is 100% anonymous, and the rewards are up to $3,000.
You know, I never could figure out the people that know these people and don't call in. I mean, you don't have to testify. You don't have to, you know, we'll never know who you are. We can't look your number up, and you will get money. And it's, you know, all you got to do is turn somebody in. And you're probably turning in people you don't like much anyways, because all these people, really, they're not nice people. So,
And you know, it's a program that works.
Yeah.
You know, we get people that
we
will
captured a lot of people this way.
And we get a lot of people that will mention on our Facebook page or on the Facebook page that, oh, it doesn't work, I didn't receive any money. But just this year we've had, or in 2018 we had 1,167 tips, 67 of which resulted in an arrest. So
nice.
I mean, and that also includes the speak out tips, and you know, out of those 67 arrests, 63 had approved rewards totaling over $21,000.
Nice.
Paid
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
There's still, we have active homicide investigations where it's $3,000 and $5,000 if you know anything that leads to the arrest. Totally anonymous, still. And just thinking about that, I mean, even the person who committed the homicide that you're turning in will never know who turned them in. So
no way to know at all. And those stats are great from a Crime Stopper standpoint. And we're getting people off the streets, and not one do we know who the caller was. So it's a great thing. And keep using Crime Stoppers. We appreciate the information because these are folks who want to get off the street.
And you know, I talked to my jail major today. We have 8 open beds out of 700, or out of 682 beds. We have like 6 or 7, I think he said, were open. So we have some openings for these people. Just call us. We'll bed them down.
We'll pick them up.
We have space for you in the Milton Hilton.
We'll pick you up, transport you, everything. And the meals in there are almost free.
It's like the sheriff's Uber.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
Nice. I like that.
I like that.
That's what we should rebrand the DUI taxi.
Yeah, we can start that. Sheriff's Uber.
Sheriff's Uber.
I like it.
So we have some. We have a promotion.
We do.
At the sheriff's office. Sheriff, you want to tell us about Dan Parks?
Dan Parks. He was in a traffic unit, and he tested for sergeant And let me tell you, it took a while for him to test for sergeant. I bugged this guy and I bugged this guy to test for sergeant. He is just one of those deputies that is really sharp, and you know right off the bat he's going to be a great leader. And he finally took the test, came out number 1, and I got to promote him. So a great day for the sheriff's office. It really is.
He's a great guy, and we wish
He
him
is.
the best.
You know, sir, I don't think this has ever really been a question that we've asked or even really talked about. But the fact that you brought it up, we have our deputies test for their promotions.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just something that you can get handed to you.
Right.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and you know, when you start talking about sergeants and lieutenants, when that's 2 of the most important positions in the sheriff's office, and when you start selecting people for that, you need to know a baseline of, number 1, their knowledge, and 2, their dedication to the agency, and 3, their dedication to the people of Santa Rosa County. So we put them through a testing process, and they take a written test, and then if they pass the written test, they move on to an oral board. And then if they pass that, then they do a file review, and then they stack them up on a list for me, and then I get to pick the sergeant or lieutenant. And you know, it's a vetting process, and I'm hoping this coming budget year to decompress the pay scale, because right now, if you become a sergeant, you only get 5% pay raise, which isn't a lot, which means there's some sergeants that make less than regular deputies. So I'm trying to fix that this year, and if that comes to fruition, then hopefully pretty soon they'll be paid commensurate to their work. So
Awesome. And again, thank you for all that, Sheriff. We really appreciate it. And lastly is we do have job openings available.
we do.
And there's a lot of ways to get a hold of us. We can call HR. You can go on our website, careers, you name it, and we got it there for you, even on our Facebook page.
And I think we have the deputy sheriff's openings are getting pretty slim. I think we still have a couple, but I think when I took over, we had like 17 or something, and I think now we're down to probably 2 or 3. And we need dispatchers as well, and the jail staff is full right now. You can still put in an application, but you'll be put on a list. So that's a good thing, though, to have a list now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Sheriff, I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
I'd like to have you and kind of brief everybody on what's going on. Jacqueline, of course, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show.